3 Bengals rookies who could have a big impact this year in 2024. So before we get into this article, I'm going to get my 3 rookies I'm thinking about right away. Number 1 is Matt Lee. Now, if you don't know who Matt Lee is, Matt Lee was our 7th round draft pick. I believe he played from Miami. He played for the Hurricanes in the U. But yeah, he played 4 seasons there. He also played for, I think, another college, I want to say. He was our 7th round draft pick. He plays center, and he also can play guard. That is number 1. I think he will make the 53-man roster. Not everyone predicts that, and everyone thinks that. I think he will personally. That's number 1. Number 2, I think the biggest impact rookie will be Chris Jenkins, our 2nd round draft pick from Michigan, our defensive tackle. I think he will be instantly an impact rookie, mainly because he is, and as many have said, the actual drafted guy to replace DJ Reader, right? And he played at a very high level. He just won a natty with Michigan. He's a great run stuffer. He's not the greatest pass rusher because he does have a little bit shorter arms. Not T-Rex arms, but a little bit shorter. But he has all the strength in the world. And he's able to move people around and actually get to the running back. So that's number 2. Number 3, I will say the most impactful rookie of this upcoming season. Ooh. I'm kind of a toss-up right now. Between a couple different players. Okay. I'm going to say Josh Newton. And hear me out, right? And I know the obvious is going to be, well, Jermaine Burton, right? But you got to remember, we have a lot of mouths to feed in our receiving core. We have T. Higgins, we have Jamar Chase, we have Chuck Sizzle, we have Yoshi, we also have Trent Nerwin. Just the name of 5 guys right there. All right, sorry about that, guys. Not sure what happened. My webcam froze for a second. But anyway, though, we have 5 receivers right there. I just listed off the top of my head. Plus, you also got to keep in mind we have, Mike Gesicki. We also have Tanner McLaughlin. We have Eric All. We have Drew Sample, but he's going to be a fullback most likely this year. But we have a lot of mouths to feed, okay? We have a lot of players. So Jermaine Burton's going to have a good season. I think he's going to, in the end here, I would say probably projected 500-yard season. I still think Yoshi's going to have over 1,000 yards. And if I'm wrong on that prediction, he doesn't have over 1,000 yards, I will donate over $200 to Joe Burrow's, what's it called? His foundation. It's to help out people with mental illnesses. So I will go ahead and donate $200 if Yoshi does not have over 1,000 yards season this upcoming year. But with that being said, I think Jermaine Burton's going to have a good year, just not the best year ever. And then again, there's all these other guys, Eric All as well, Tanner McLaughlin if he does make the roster in the end, and so on and so on. So those are my 3 guys. Chris Jenkins, Matt Lee, which I know, wild card there. That's a wild card right there. But I think especially if Cordell Volson struggles a little bit or somebody gets hurt, you have that backup rotational guy, and I think he could be very successful. And again, like I said, my last guy is Josh Newton. Now, Josh Newton is a little bit of a wild card as well, just because we're having Dax Hill go to cornerback. We did lose Cheeto, but we still have Cam Taylor-Britt, we still have Mike Hilton, we still have DJ Turner. So Josh Newton, in order for him to become the number 2 cornerback, or number 3, being a 5th round pick, he's going to have to really step up. But I think he can really step up this year, and I think he can be very successful for us. So he's another guy I'm really, amped on and stout about going into this season. So let's see what they say on StripeHype.com. So the first receiver or player they say is Amarius Mims. Okay. I don't think he'll play at all this year. If Marius Mims does not play one single snap this year, that means this year is going correctly for us. That means this year is very successful. Because that means that Trent Brown lasted the whole entire season, Orlando Brown lasted the whole entire season, and we didn't have to go to Amarius Mims because of injury. And I don't think, outside of injury, there's no reason why he should be the starter. He should be a guy who sits back, learns, and develops behind 2 of the best tackles in the game here, and just gets to that level where he is the franchise tackle for the future. Throwing him out to the Wolves or having him play right away, I think would be a lot of different problems. So I think right now his best situation is to sit and learn and then become the starter in the future. So I disagree that he would have, and I don't think he'll have any impact on this season. I think he'll have an impact of just, learning, but not right now. This is a 2025 type impact player. Number 2 is Jermaine Burton, and number 3 is Tanner McLaughlin. Yeah, Tanner McLaughlin, I think he could definitely have an impact if he does make the roster. As I said, there's a lot of mouths to feed, and I think that is something you have to take into consideration when it comes to all this. But at the same time, yes, he is also, a vertical threat tight end. He's a slot receiver pretty much. He's like a slot receiver who can play tight end. He's really good in the seams. He can get open, and he has some vertical speed to him. His biggest problem why he was a 6th-round draft pick is probably going to be separation. But still, he still has a lot of potential. And I agree. I think he could be a good player if he does make the roster. It's more reasons, though, why I don't think he'll be successful. If he makes the roster, it's more mouths to feed. At some point, not everyone can get their receptions. You got Jamar Chase. He's going to get his. T. Higgins, if he's healthy, he's going to get his. Trenton Irwin, again, I say Chuck Sizzle, but Chuck Sizzle doesn't really get any offensive snaps, let's be honest. So if it's not Chuck Sizzle, then it's going to be Yoshi. Yoshi's going to get his. Jermaine Burton's going to get his. And then Tanner, Eric All, Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample. You got the backfield in Zach Moss and Chase Brown. This is a problem when it comes to looking at stats where it's a good problem to have. When they say this guy or this team has a good problem, this is a good problem to have. Every team would love to have this problem where you're like, it's not that we don't have any good players. We have too many good players that not everyone's going to get fed. So I think overall wise, for impact wise, I guess that's not always like a stat thing. It's not like, the impact is they have 1,000 yards. An impact could be they have a game-winning play, right, in a Week 17 game that pushes us and wins the division. They have a critical catch in this situation, that situation, right? So there's always situations where you could it's not always the biggest impact based on how much stats they have. But I think when it looks like from the rookie perspective of how good these rookies are going to do, I think that they're kind of set up to be, to a certain degree, how good they can be, right? We saw Yoshi last season. Now, Yoshi was a 6th-round draft pick, but he didn't really get snaps into the second half of the season. And you're going to have to kind of work your way into getting snaps. Now, timeout, OTAs right now, being 0 T. Higgins and 0 Jamar Chase, players like Tanner McLaughlin and players like Jermaine Burton are able to get these reps and catches and snaps with Joe Burrow, which is absolutely amazing for them. And this gets the rapport down. So when they go into the season, they have the ability to already look good and already be good, right? So there's different scenarios, but I'm still going to stay with Matt Lee, Chris Jenkins, and I'm going to say Josh Allen. Those are my 3. Tell me your 3 down below. I'll see you guys next one.